Fasli Awwal Mishkatul Masabih. So yesterday we listened to a hadith from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, in which he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam mentioned that the women were the majority of the residents and dwellers of the fire of hell. And in there he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam mentioned a few matters which relate to the nature of women, due to which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said they were the majority of the dwellers in the fire of hell. So we talked about that yesterday, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the hardship of menstruation and bearing a child, carrying a child, giving birth to a child, and for those reasons they are different to men in their nature and the way they speak and their expression of being grateful, and so and so things were mentioned yesterday. What we do have to understand is that this is not saying in any way that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam denied the rights of women, or that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was alayadu billah a sexist. He sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam is in fact the role model that the West has followed in giving rights to women. Women in the UK have only been added or given inheritance rights, for example, just within the last 200 years, I think. I won't be far off from that. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam around 1500 years ago gave the rights of inheritance to women. Women had the right to own property. Women had the right to raise their voices. People like Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, who could be a more manly leader than Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, where he'd be giving the Friday khutbah, which would be the main khutbah, the main speech given by the Amir, the Khalifa of the Muslimin, and a woman would stand up and tell Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu ta'ala that he's wrong, and Sayyiduna Umar would then come down from the minbar, apologize and retract what he said. That's what Islam taught. Islam gave that status to women, that they have the equal right to raise their voice, they have the equal right to vote who should be their leader, and these rights were given to them by Islam, by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, Sayyidah Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, Sayyidah Fatima, all these women are a great testification to what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam taught in terms of the rights of women. The next hadith, I'm going back one because I've realized that we missed one hadith out, I'm not sure how. But hadith number 17 in the chapter and the 18th hadith in the book. Samiti radiyallahu ta'ala, and it is narrated from Sayyiduna Ubadah ibn Samit radiyallahu an qala. He said, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam wa hawlahu isabatum min ashabih. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, whilst there was a group of his companions around him. And that shows that the word hawlahu implies here that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam used to sit in a halaqa, and they used to sit in a circle surround the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And that's where the halaqa in the masjid, some people still do the halaqat in the masajid. It's to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. So these Sahaba kiram are sitting surrounding the Messenger of Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. So he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to them, Bayi'uni, Bayi'uni, yani do bay'at on my hand, do bay'ah with me. Ala an la tushriku billahi shay'a, ala an la tushriku billahi shay'a, upon the fact that you will not partner anyone or anything with Allah, shay'an. You will not partner anything or anyone with Allah. Wala tasriqu, and you will not thieve or rob or steal. Wala tasriqu, and you will not involve yourself in sariqa or saraqa. Wala taznu, and you will not commit zina, adultery. Wala taqtulu awladakum, and you will not kill your children. Yani the children that used to be buried alive, the girls, the female newborn that used to be buried alive. Regarding that, it says وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ, and that you will not kill your children, which also bil ishara is referring to abortion as well. وَلَا تَأْتُوا بِبُهْتَانٍ تَفْتَرُونَهُ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, and do not make any accusation from yourself. Do not make false accusations from yourself. بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, Shaykh Muhaqqiq has said that بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, yani from in front of you, means from yourself. Yani you should not be making an accusation against another. And here, iftira, this is an iftira, to fabricate a lie against somebody, to make something up and accuse someone of something, like the accusation of zina. وَلَا تَعْصُوا فِي مَعْرُوفٍ, and do not be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ma'roof. And ma'roof means the sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yani husnuhu wa qubhuhu, it's good and it's bad. Yani perform its good and stay away from its bad. So don't disobey Allah in that. وَلَا تَعْصُوا فِي مَعْرُوفٍ, and do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sharia. These are a few of the ahkam that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam has mentioned in the presence of the Sahaba Kiram. And what the overall meaning of this is that adhere to everything that I have brought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the idea of these statements. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam has mentioned specific ones. And then he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said, فَمَنْ وَفَى مِنْكُمْ, whosoever is loyal, wafa, whosoever fulfills these, minkum, from amongst you, فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ, then his reward is upon Allah. And ala is generally used to show that it is an obligation upon someone, it is necessary upon someone. And therefore there is an ishkal here, because nothing is necessary upon Allah. So فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ, although it says عَلَى اللَّهِ, it's to express certainty that Allah will certainly reward that individual who fulfills this, but not to mean that there is a right upon Allah. Because many a times in hadith, in this hadith as well, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a hadith Qudsiya as well, has said that my servant has a right over me. Halake, nobody has a right over Allah. Nothing is obligatory upon Allah. So what that is, it is mentioned in its majazi meaning. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ensures that will be fulfilled for the individual. Doesn't mean that we have a right over Allah. So like that here where it says فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ensure the reward for that individual. وَمَنْ أَصَابَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ شَيْئًا, and whosoever other than shirk, apart from the first one where it says La tushriku billahi shay'a, do not commit shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not partner anyone with Allah. Apart from that, if anybody committed any one of these prohibitions, don't steal, don't rob, don't commit zina, don't kill your children, don't make false accusations, don't disobey Allah in the sharia. If anybody commits one of these, so he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, فَعُوقِبَ فِي الدُّنْيَا, then he is punished in the dunya. So anyone who commits any of these acts, these prohibited acts, and he is punished in the dunya, فَهُوَ كَفَّارَةٌ لَهُ, then that is his kafara done. He is freed, he has freed himself from the disobedience, he has been punished, and he will not have to account for it in the hereafter, because he's received the punishment in the dunya. So it's a kafara for the individual. وَمَنْ أَصَابَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ شَيْئًا ثُمَّ سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ, and whosoever committed an act from amongst these, or more than one, ثُمَّ سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept it hidden from the people. سَتَرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ, and Allah made it hidden, mastur. Tiga? إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّتَّارُ, Allahumma asturna bi sadrihil jamil. Allahumma asturna bi sadrikal jamil. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hid the sin and did not punish the individual in the dunya, fahuwa ilallah, then it is up to Allah. It is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In sha'a afa anhu, if He willed, He will forgive it. Wa in sha'a aqabahu, and if He willed, or if He wills, then He will punish the individual on the Day of Judgment. فَبَايَعْنَاهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. Sayyiduna Ubadah ibn Samit said, so we did bay'ah on the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam upon that. Muttafaqun alayh. The hadith is muttafaq alayh. Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim both have narrated it. So the point here is the whole philosophy of amal has been mentioned here. That we have been sent in this world with a sharia, a path to follow. If you follow the path, you will be punished either in the dunya or in the akhirah, and you will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So some people are punished in this world. You will find that there are many people that reach old age and they suffer from illnesses. And these illnesses that are given to the Muslims, the believers, then they are taking away their sins. It is expiation for the sins, it's kafara for the sin, it is compensation for the sin, and that's what it refers to here. That فَأُوخِبَ بِهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا, he has received the punishment in the dunya. Then that is a good thing. So those people who do die in a terminal illness, for example, or any other forms of illnesses, they've been bedbound for a long period of time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is either forgiving their sins, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is raising the individual status. It doesn't necessarily mean that he stayed bedbound for 4 months, means that he must have been so sinful in his life that there's so many sins to forgive. No, what it means is that maybe that his ranks are being raised. Many people, they are tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to raise their ranks. Like in one narration, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reported to have said that sometimes an individual is a wali of Allah, or he has great stations, but his life is not of that. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inflicts him with what? Yani with illnesses before he leaves the world, or she leaves the world, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through that illness raises the status, and then on the Day of Judgment they appear as from amongst the awliya kiram. So that's one reason. Another reason why someone may receive illnesses is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves them. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala merely tests his servant with illnesses because he loves them. And that's what used to happen with Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was, when he became ill, that was the reason why. And when he was asked by Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala that Anta Rasulullah, you are the messenger of Allah, how is this? He said, Anta Rasulullah, you are the messenger of Allah, you're sleeping on this straw mat which is leaving marks on your back, and Qaisar and Qisra ala dibaj, they are living in luxury and comfort. Wa Anta Rasulullah, you are the messenger of Allah, you are suffering these illnesses. So he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said that, are you not pleased with the fact that the dunya is for them and walana al-akhirah, and for us is the hereafter? Is that not enough for you, O Umar? That we suffer here hardship and then we will bathe in eternal bliss in the hereafter. Is that not enough for you? And then the Messenger of Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said that he who is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inflicted more by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am the most beloved to Allah. Here there's various different narrations with different wording, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam went through the most hardships than anyone else in this ummah. Yet he is the messenger of Allah. Why? Because he is the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's what we're trying to understand, that sometimes illnesses, hardships, accidents and difficulties occur not because the person's sins are being forgiven, not because the status is being raised, but merely because Allah loves the individual. So these are various reasons why someone may be inflicted with an illness before passing away or during their life. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said that even if a thorn pricks a believer, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes one of his sins because of that, and gives him a reward because of that, and raises one status because of that. So every hardship and difficulty that we believers go through in this life is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why in Surah Al-Baqarah the Mufassirin say, I am kind of waffling off topic, but the Mufassirin say where the word bala has been mentioned, they say that bala can mean gift or it can mean hardship. It can mean either, because every hardship in this dunya is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to practice patience, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does test us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to follow the sharia that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to us through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And if we are short in fulfilling the commands of that sharia, and we are humans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us insan, we are forgetful, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, and without any accountability and any punishment at all. Jazakumullah. Sadaqa Rasulullah.